Pretty simple. Us guys, a lot of times us guys are perceived as being complex, but we're really very, very simple. And if you give us, in our cases, our car guys, if you give us a project to work on or a challenge, or say you can't do something, we'll be right there and answer the call, and we'll try to make the best of it. And
we'll figure it out.
And if it doesn't work the first time, we'll do it 10 times until we get it right.
And with these twisty roads for the motorbikes and for the old cars, instead of having to deal with traffic, I just have the whole road to myself.
Yeah, I don't care. That's what they had in the old days, right?
These cars, they aren't cars to me. They're like artwork. It's a kinetic sculpture, if you will, because it's unlike something you hang on the wall or just look at. This thing, you start it up, it roars, it makes noise, it shoots flame, it goes down the road. It causes a reaction. It's rolling art. That's what I love about it. You know, it can be good or bad.
It was absolutely a priority for a teenager in America to get a car, to be able to date on your own, and be out there on your own. That was a huge deal.
Perfect, Tim. That was good, Tim.
Yeah. Every car has a great history and story that comes with it, you know, and I love finding stuff that's been stuck in a barn for years, or in this, there's a truck out front now that was in a field in Bonita. I developed this ability to actually swing my head all the way around 360 whenever we were passing something, because there it is and it's in the bushes, but I can still see it. Just a glint of a bumper would take me into a property to look around. And I always believed in that law about it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. You just go in, do what you want to do, and if somebody throws you off the property, you apologize, you know, and you're out of there, but you've seen what you want to see.
Everything original?
Pretty much, except for the engine now.
Okay, love it.
This car we bought for the Great Race, which is an event that used to go from coast to coast. And they had this event every year. And we saw these guys having too much fun in their old cars. So we bought this 34 Ford, pretty much as you see it now. We got it ready to go on the Great Race, and we drove from Disneyland with a ceremonial start, Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool, 120 cars going down Main Street.
Oh, that's great.
And we ended up in Boston 2 weeks later. 4,400 miles.
No trouble that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Several years ago, one of the guys in the early Ford Club, Tom Cook, started showing up at the donut shop in Bonita, and he invited 2 or 3 of his friends that had old cars, and so it developed or evolved from 3 or 4 old cars to 75 or 80 cars every Saturday morning. I have to leave by 9 because that's when a bunch of stores open up. So it's been going now for years, and it's just bigger and bigger. Cars from the early 30s all the way up to the 70s. In addition to the downtown display area museum, there's a restoration shop portion, and that's where I hang out on 1 day a week, Wednesdays. We have a bunch of volunteers, about 14, 15 guys show up, and we accept donations. Cars get donated, and then we usually strive to get them running, so that when we either decide to keep the car or sell the car or whatever, we always try to make it run so we could drive it and drive it around the block, make sure it works, And then if the people downtown that run the show, if they decide it's one that they want to sell, why then it's running so they can sell it. So the guys that show up every week are just volunteers. Some of them weren't even in the car business. Actually, it's interesting. I've been in the car business all my life, so I end up doing a lot of the engine work. But some of the guys, one of the guys worked for San Diego Gas and Electric all his career and retired. So whenever we have an electrical problem, well, we call on him because he spent his life in the electrical business. And we've got some of these old cars in the 18s and 20s had a lot of wood in them, and inside the doors and inside the posts, A pillars, B pillars, they have wood. And so we have a couple of guys that are really good at woodworking. And so even though they weren't in the car business all their lives, they're good at woodworking, and so they end up making new parts and installing some of the wood parts in these cars that we're restoring.
That's as much action we've gotten in a long time. More work than anybody's done in a long time. There you go. Now, how are we going to put this on an engine stand? We're going to have to make a bracket.
These guys are all retired, so they have a lot of time on their hands, and so they spend one day a week there at the restoration shop. And then we spend, like my case, I spend the next 4 or 5 days trying to find parts for some of these old cars. We're working on a 1936 Austin, and so we've got the engine out and all the part, and so I need to find some parts. And so I'm not on Wednesday because I'm down there, but now when I'm home, there's Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, I spend some time on the internet trying to find these parts.
It's something you probably wouldn't want to even brag about to anybody because they look at you, you're crazy. But it's total satisfaction, like Tim said. Internal satisfaction. And, you know, there's a good example. That engine right there looks like just a pile of junk sitting there. And it probably is in most people's eyes. But, you know, that has a lot of promise to me.